Oh, maybe reading it aloud and for example, for instance, may be very interesting and that kind of audience, that sort of audience, it may be very appropriate and safe and sound, very appropriate and safe and sound. Absolutely very important resources, money, currency, supplies, resources. I was on several, for instance, so-called, for example, several sports and athletic teams. I was on special, uh, certain sports and athletic teams, and very interesting. Absolutely very excellent, fine, good about it at the time. So in soccer, basketball, and swim teams, for example, soccer and basketball and swim teams, for example, and for instance, so-called, different sports athletic teams, years ago, that's completed years and years ago, a long time ago, many things, very obvious and very apparent, very inherent knowledge, intrinsic knowledge and common sense, and reading that aloud, and the absence thereof, or the presence thereof, prolonged long duration, would you like to explain that more? Would you like to explain that more, sir, madame, a lot of laughter, giggle, and comedy jokes. So at that time and not at that time, different time frames, for example, the absence and presence thereof, and you might want to fill in the blank thereof. Absolutely, and absolutely, I've happened never to been arrested, charged, or convicted of any crime. Convicted of any crime, no. Charged, no. Arrested, no. Those are separate issues. Arrested for any crime or arrested, no. Charged, no. Convicted, no. In any court of laws, and the presence thereof or absence thereof. And for example, you can extrapolate in generalization inference. I've never had to be evacuated. No. And relocated, about 0%. Absolutely. Would you like to explain that more? And different qualitative, quantitative, absolutely and very important resources, money, currency, supplies, resources. So in this book, Little Movie, which the man and the person said, the individual said, summarized, they're also lawyers, attorneys, psychiatrists, doctors, by birth of my blood. Is that a joke? A lot of bluffing and teasing and joking. And also the rescuers for success rate, millions of trillions of quadrillions of our members, citizens, millions of trillions of quadrillions, many of them. Success rate about 60 or 61%, so-called success rate about 60 or 61%. Many of our fellow members and citizens of this book, Little Movie scripts, are science fiction adventures were so well hidden, so-called well hidden, that it was difficult to rescue them safely and soundly, very appropriate and safe and soundly. Absolutely. A lot of jokes and bluffing and teasing and joking. Reading aloud in the presence thereof, of absence thereof. That's very important to know. Prolonged long duration. Oftentimes prolonged long duration or short term. Short term or prolonged long duration. Absolutely. In different jurisdictions, books that are right. In jokes, jurisdictions, states and counties and resources, for example. And we have many, sort of speaking myself, many fellow Oregonians, many fellow Washingtonians, many fellow Oregonians, many fellow Washingtonians, many fellow British, many fellow English, many fellow Eurasians, many fellow Eurasians, many fellow Europeans, many fellow Europeans, many fellow Oregonians, many fellow Washingtonians, many fellow Americans, many fellow USers, many fellow British, many fellow USers, many fellow English, many fellow Scandinavian, many fellow Americans, many fellow Europeans, many fellow Washingtonians, many fellow Oregonians, many fellow USers, and many fellow Europeans and many fellow Eurasians, many fellow British, many fellow Americans, many fellow Europeans, many fellow USers, and many fellow USers, and for example, so-called, for example, and we're family members, FMs, and family and friends. Now, generic terms and phrases, different spellings, pronunciations, qualities, quantities, amounts, qualitative, quantitative, for very important resources, monies, currency, supplies, resources. And reading there's a lot of different books that are writing jokes. I've never sued anyone. No, never sued anyone, absolutely. And in this book, the movie script, the man and the individual person says that they're one of the main so-called lawyers, attorneys, big claims, whatever. Millions of billions of trillions of quadrillions of cases, oftentimes bundled up together. Millions of billions of trillions of quadrillions of cases, many cases, nonetheless. Very important resources, money, currency, supplies, materials, and resources, and nonetheless, and resources of different words, sayings, and phrases. A lot of jokes and bluffing and teasing and joking. We're family members, FMs, and family and friends, for example. Absolutely, we're family members, FM, and friends, and different awards, and recognitions, and recommendations, and evaluations, awards, recognitions, transcripts, school transcripts, grades, and completed years ago, oftentimes so-called paraphrase, quote, completed, cauterized, wad off, seal off, completed approximately. Absolutely, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100% of the time. Different books that are writing jokes and so-called completed, cauterized, wad off, seal off, completed, cauterized, water off, seed off, completed, about approximately 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%, about 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%, excellent, fine, and good about half the time, excellent, fine, and good about half the time. Very important resources, money, currency, supplies, materials, and different, sort of completed and contain, and walled off, seed off, cauterized, water off, seed off, contain, walled off, seed off, completed, approximately 60, 70, 80, 90, 100% of the time, cauterized, water off, seed off, cauterized, water off, seed off, completed, contain, approximately 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%. Different science fiction adventures, and science fiction books that are writing jokes, jokes, movie scripts and books that are writing jokes and very appropriate and safe and sound about 100% of the time, and we're family members, FMs, and family and friends, for example. Very important resources, money, currency, supplies, materials, and resources. Excellent, fine, and good about 100% of the time. Excellent, fine, and good about 100% of the time. And we're family members, FMs, and family and friends. And very appropriate and safe and sound, very appropriate and safe and sound. We're family members, FMs, and family members, FMs, and family and friends, for example.